Hello and welcome to the Tourism Hub podcast. Today I want to take a different approach from our usual business episodes filled with trends, insights and strategies. Today's episode is about the loss of a human in tourism, a remarkable person whose contributions have left a lasting impact on our industry and on all of us who had the privilege to know her. I'm also speaking today as someone who's already grieving the recent passing of my grandmother. Hearing of Jo's passing has me reflecting deeply, and I felt compelled to share and open up this conversation about loss, about legacy, and about how we spend our time, how we are remembered, and how we want to be remembered. Not to mention the misconception of this precious resource called time. Jo was an impressive human. There was never an interaction with her that was not thought-provoking, and having her on this podcast was on the cards, and this tribute is for the missed opportunity. I thought we had time. And what a disservice to not take the opportunity to share her wisdom and the work she contributed to the visitor economy. So today we dedicate this Tourism Hub episode to Associate Professor Joanne Pyke, Director for the School of the Visitor Economy at the Victoria University. Jo, as many of us fondly knew her, was an extraordinary academic and a visionary leader in tourism whose recent passing has left a void in our community. Her work spanned decades and her impact went beyond the borders of Australia, reaching international communities far and wide. Especially to those who knew her, her legacy is one of deep dedication to sustainable tourism, diversity, community well-being and inclusion. Values she not only preached but practiced every day. Jo dedicated over 20 years of her life to Victoria University and the wider tourism community. A VU PhD graduate herself, Jo's career as an academic was marked by a commitment to sustainability, diversity and inclusion. She was a champion of community well-being and gender equity also. Jo's natural strength lay in fostering deep and meaningful collaborations with the wider array of people, both within academia and the industry. She built strong partnerships and delivered impactful industry-funded research, not just within Victoria and Australia, but also internationally, touching communities in Fiji, Tonga, Vietnam, and Indonesia, to name a few. She authored or co-authored 39 research papers during her academic career, a feat that commands deep respect unto itself, especially from someone like me who's been currently in the process of writing an academic paper. My personal respect is on another level to something that I never really paid attention to the level of effort until now. It's a challenging process, and reaching that level of contribution is absolutely remarkable. But what truly caught my eye and led to us working together earlier this year was her paper titled Building the Resilience of Tourism Destinations to Disasters. Jo played the role of lead chief investigator in this research, conducted in collaboration with Equality Humans at the Victoria Tourism Industry Council, more specifically our Felicia Mariani, our chief executive, and Chris Porter, chief of operations. The paper focused on building resilience among tourism destinations in the face of disasters like the 2020 Victorian bushfires and the COVID-19 pandemic. Jo's research highlighted that accredited businesses, those following the VTIC Quality Tourism Framework, tended to recover more quickly and effectively than those without accreditation. This insight was absolutely pivotal in shaping our understanding of resilience in the tourism sector and essentially formed the foundation of what we presented when we launched the VT Quality Tourism Business Program earlier this year that I've dedicated a previous episode to. Jo's research and her co-authors emphasised several critical factors accredited businesses were better prepared with risk management, strategic planning, and crisis response frameworks. They were also more likely to innovate and adapt during crisis, which was key to their quicker recovery. Jo's work brought to light the importance of fostering stronger, more resilient business practices across the tourism industry, ensuring not only survival but also long-term sustainability and growth. More recently, I ran into dear Jo at the Choose Tourism Expo. With her colleagues, we found a quiet moment to share lunch and, more importantly, a chat. One of those deep, meaningful conversations that nourish you more than any food on your plate. We spoke about visions of the future, both for the industry and professionally, and we agreed we must do this more often. That was in June, and by September, that opportunity is gone. The suddenness of all of this is really hit home, and a stark reminder of how easily we lose sight of our priorities, of how we assume we have more time to connect, to reach out, to engage. Jo's commitment to sustainable tourism extended far beyond academic publications and research papers also. She was deeply involved in understanding the sustainability concerns associated with large-scale events, including religious tourism. In her last LinkedIn post, Jo shared her contribution to the BBC World Service program titled Greening the Hajj. She wrote, "I was pleased to contribute to this BBC World Service program, Greening the Hajj. The program explores the many challenges in reducing the environmental impact on this major and growing event. And worth a listen it is. You don't know what you don't know, right? The Greening the Hajj episode from the documentary podcast, which I will also share in the show notes, focuses on the enormous carbon footprint of the Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca, a concern that climate scientists warn is set to get worse as the event grows and grows in scale. In the episode, Zubida Malik asks what can be done to make the Hajj greener, and Jo offers her expertise on how to balance cultural and religious traditions with the urgent need for sustainability. I'd like to take a moment now to share an excerpt from that episode where Jo contributes to this important conversation. It's a powerful reminder of her dedication to finding sustainable solutions and her ability to navigate complex topics with insight and care.
The Saudi government has put in place a range of measures, policy statements about improving the environmental impact of the Hajj, but basically they're not being realised for a whole range of reasons. And a key one is that the Hajj is organised by government departments, but is implemented by private stakeholders who are the ones that run the accommodation, who provide the food, who provide the transport. And so all of those stakeholders aren't involved or are knowledgeable about what the environmental goals are. So there's no reason for them to want to implement those goals.
Like I said, I will share the link to this full episode and all other publicly available research featuring Jo Pyke in the show notes for those who wish to listen to the entire discussion. And like Jo said, it's worth a listen. Hearing Jo's voice again, her passion and her dedication reminds us of the power of her work and the depth of her character. It also brings back personal reflections on legacy and the fleeting nature of time. Having recently lost my grandmother, not sharing a life with her by my side or even in the country my whole entire life, with little remnants of the life she lived, I have found myself reflecting on how we spend our days, the time we give to our loved ones, the energy we put into, and the way we share our work, and the moments we let slip because we think there will always be more time. Jo's passing and all this reflection also brought up my memory and my missing my mate, the loss of my childhood bestie, Kathy Mukhtaropoulos, who passed away at the young age of 25 at a time when there was no social media and the internet was really just beginning. Kathy was right at the beginning of her prime, and I often think about the incredible things she would have achieved if she had more time. Her legacy is different, one of potential unfulfilled and a life incomplete. Yet both Kathy and Jo's legacies remind us to seize the opportunities we have to engage with the people who matter, to publish the work, and to make time for the things and the people that are truly important. Jo's lifetime of work and her unwavering dedication to the field of tourism will continue to inspire us for decades to come. She leaves behind a rich legacy of sustainability, inclusion, and community engagement. As a leader, a mentor, a colleague, and a friend, she showed us the importance of forging meaningful connections, fostering collaboration, and working towards a better future for all. Today's episode isn't about business strategies, industry insights, trends, or TikToks. It's about remembering and honouring Associate Professor Joanne Pyke and reflecting on the lessons we can learn from her life and work. It's also a call to act for all of us, to not wait to have those important conversations, to pursue that passion project, to publish the work, to express our gratitude to those who matter and those we love, or even say sorry when we stuff things up. To Jo's nearest and dearest, her family, friends, colleagues, students, I extend my deepest condolences and love during this difficult time. And to everyone else who's listening who has lost someone near and dear to you, I send you the same love and sympathies. Loss is something we all experience. It's in these moments of sharing and remembering that we can find a sense of connection and hopefully healing. Today's episode wasn't about business talk. It was about people, about loss, and about love. Thank you for allowing me to share this tribute to wonderful Joanne Pyke with you all. Until next time, take care of yourselves, cherish your loved ones, and make time for what truly, truly matters. I send you all my love and peace, and thank you for listening to another episode of the Tourism Hub podcast.